And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 96th ever episode of the Best Phone Plans podcast. And we have some news today. This is actually the final episode of the Best Phone Plans podcast. I know it's kind of sad and it's melancholy, and it was a glorious ride on the show. I think, Dennis, we have some great memories here from episodes 1 all the way up to 95, 96, where we are today. Amazing guests, an amazing audience. Like, I really want to thank you, the audience and the viewers, for watching the episodes, for commenting, for interacting with us, doing the sticker switch. Like, truly a glorious experience. So I love you all. I'm thankful for you all. You probably have some questions. So in this episode, Dennis and I are going to do a quick kind of Q&A. It is pre-recorded, but we will answer any questions you have in the comments if for whatever reason we don't answer them in this video. And we're going to talk about what's next, what's the future, where you can find us, and what's happening. So I think to kick things off, why are we ending the podcast? This was definitely more of my decision at first. It was taking up a lot of time on my end, producing all of the content that goes into the podcast, from the thumbnail design to getting and researching articles to really producing the show. And my goal is to help as many people as possible save money on their cell phone bill. And after reflecting on it, I decided I feel like I can do a better job of that and reach many more people on the main Stetson Doggett channel. I think there's a bigger audience there. I think I can have a bigger impact there. And in terms of a business perspective, I think it's strategic for me to focus more of my energy on that. And so that was a big deciding factor for me in kind of pausing the podcast. It was so fun. There was really no, I feel like, great time to end it, but it felt like coming to the end of the year is a good kind of milestone, a good chapter marker. And so that's kind of what was feeding my decision for this. And I know Dennis, it was, I was sad to break the news to him. I feel like I kind of surprised him, took him off guard a little bit. But it sounded like, Dennis, you were kind of realizing you had a busier schedule too, or
Yeah, after we got a proper chance after the trip in California to settle down and talk, I felt a lot better about everything. And once I also had that moment to reflect, I also came to the realization about how my life with my primary job, as you know, that I have, was taking up more time. And I also realized too that in certain aspects, not having the podcast actually opens up other potential doors in the future, or restricts me less with other future career paths. So, um, having that end now actually end up kind of working out in somewhat of a way, especially with me still doing school and having to travel a little bit more frequently. For example, like I got the trip coming up to CES, and we all know how doing content while trying to fly around can be quite the tedious battle to prep for. And I think that, you know, most good things have an end, and it's better to end it now than have you be stressed or upset and just kind of have that festering or whatever, and or for me to get tired or something. We're just ending at a sweet spot in both of our young lives, and I'm sure that both of us will be walking away to do other potential things. For example, Stetson, I know you've been. Can I share the thing we talked about on the extra content
yeah,
show?
sure.
So Stetson, for example, for anyone who doesn't know in the broader audience, has been working on an awesome coverage map. Seriously, really fantastic work. It's absolutely drop dead gorgeous. Hopefully, you'll still give me updates in the future as friends, and I think that's going to be honestly something that really revolutionizes the telecom space. And for myself, this gives me time to appear more on like sneak shows, which are always a lot of fun. I'm actually dabbling with the idea of producing some of my own content, which link to my personal YouTube channel will be in the description. It's just called Dennis P, and my Twitter is at Dennis BP3.
Yep. Check
Um,
that out. Links in the description. I think I want to see you're most active on Twitter right now, but
Most active on
definitely
Twitter.
check out the YouTube channel. If you subscribe, you'll be the first to know if Dennis decides to post a video.
Yeah, there's some things in the works. I don't know if it'll necessarily be a. I'm still fleshing out what it will be because I'm not as skilled or as talented or as efficient as Stetson is with the thumbnails and the YouTube video creation. But I have an awesome thing like Melon here that I'll be able to utilize to make content similar to this. And I'm assuming that I can probably steal this little asset from the background. I don't think Stetson's going to care too much since there's no branding in it.
Yes.
Um, But I have some guests actually that I was working on in the back burner that I think would make for great content. Still deserves to be great content, and even if they're one-off videos, I think they'll be incredibly engaging. Specifically, engineers from Qualcomm I've been in contact with. There's been a few people that I've been in contact with at actually T-Mobile directly, and just a few other things that I just think deserve to have their light to shine. And I even if only 10 people get to see it, I think it's just going to be awesome for the people that are interested. And I'll probably put them on my main channel. And if I do decide to make something more regular, since I'll probably be one man banding it a lot, it might just be me playing Overwatch and just chit chatting and live streaming. Because honestly, I love playing Overwatch, and I wouldn't mind just being able to freeball more topics if people are interested for me as like the person and my thoughts and stuff. So
Yeah, I love it. So yeah, I guess make sure to check out Dennis at the links in the description. I'm kind of curious to see what happens, so I might have to. I'll definitely be subscribing, Dennis, and I'll be maybe subscriber number 1 or 2 there. And I guess let's quickly go through a Q&A here, and then we'll talk about some of the highlight shows from the podcast and kind of, I guess, reminisce on some of the good times. First, what is happening to the Best Phone Plans channel? I think in terms of content, we are stopping that, and I think that's the biggest thing for the channel. All of the backlog content will still be there. All of the past episodes will still be here. They'll still be up. You can watch them and enjoy them. All of the Patreon members will still have access to all of the exclusive Patreon live stream content and everything around that. So the channel will still be here. And I guess it'll be up to me in the future to decide what to do with it if I ever decide to come back to it. For now, my main focus will be on my main channel. Um, what's happening to the Patreon? I've actually gone ahead and preemptively paused all Patreon contributions right now. I love you and I appreciate all of you. I think I need to rethink what kind of perks I'm able to offer. And so until I'm able to come up with that, which I'm hoping will be sometime either mid to end of January, I've gone ahead and just paused the Patreon billing. Again, you will maintain all access to all previous perks, exclusive content, exclusive live streams, exclusive videos, and again, lifetime access to that cell phone plan comparison tool, as well as that beta access to the coveragemap.com project. So that will all still be there. You'll likely just see me revamp the perks and the Patreon, excuse me, the Discord, the Patreon exclusive Discord. That is also remaining. That will still be up. I'll still be active there, and you can reach out at any time to say hello. But again, that the perks, I guess, in the future might change. I'll of course notify you of that. And then what's happening to YouTube channel memberships? This channel, actually, I never got them set up, so I kind of apologize for that. But on the main channel, I'll probably have to revamp those as well. So I think that's what's happening. We know where you can find Dennis and kind of what's going on with that and kind of why we're ending the show. And we should mention, like, Dennis and I are in great terms. Like, we're still great friends. And it was a fantastic experience. Couldn't have asked for a better partner in crime for the Best Phone Plans podcast and the spiciness and the flavor and the seasoning Dennis brought to the show. So thank you, Dennis, for the bottom of my heart for helping to make that happen.
and
Um,
and thank you as well, Stetson. As you know, behind the scenes, I told you specifically what I was thankful for and the opportunities that it kind of brought about for me. I won't share specifically what those are on the show, but you know. So thank you, of course, as well, because we know that I wouldn't have even been on YouTube if it wasn't for the push. If in fact,
yeah,
let's go down memory lane for a second. For anyone that's an OG Best Phone Plans watcher, you will know that in our earlier episodes, I didn't show my face on camera.
it's
It
true.
wasn't until I believe we got Ahmed on for the first time that I was forced to start this webcam trend.
It's true. I think it was like one of the first guest interviews. I
Yeah,
was
I
like,
think it was Ahmed.
I think it might have been Ahmed. We were like, I was like, Dennis, like, we need to have your face on the show. Like, it's weird interviewing someone and not having your face. Like, it really helps to know when someone's gonna speak because you can see them going to talk. And I guess like before that very first episode, Dennis had that garbage microphone.
You're talking
Instantly,
about this garbage microphone, although this is the new headset, but it's the Astro headset microphone I was using on my old Astro headphones
it
that
was
was
so bad.
notoriously bad. Although,
I
ironically enough, that episode is one of our most viewed Best Phone Plan episodes.
the OG. After that, I immediately ordered Dennis the Shure SM7V microphone that you see before. It's like, I'm jealous. Okay. I probably should have got one for myself as well. Fantastic microphone. And then, yeah, then Dennis, we got your face on camera. People could see the glorious beard. And then the beanie train slowly started after that.
Yeah, we started with a 720p Logitech webcam that I pulled out of the dust, and then I got this like Mexico 4K camera that wasn't great, and then we finally got the Logitech cameras that we have to date, which we find out that the software sucks and doesn't want to run on Mac,
It
none,
works really well on Windows.
but works great on Windows. So we got that. Then there was me with the proposition of the green screens that happened somewhere in between.
Like again, Dennis brought just so much value to this podcast, you guys.
I was usually the one pushing for stuff, and it was always a time and or money equation. Like those emotes, if you guys like those, that was
That was
another one of
Dennis.
Dennis's wacky, wild ideas. And I don't know. I will say though, seriously, like getting if anybody wants to just to go down memory lane, you should watch some of the episodes that we mentioned because honestly, they're so memorable to me. Like I don't know which one sticks out for you, Stetson, but there are three interviews in particular that I will never forget because they were truly great. And if these people hear their names mentioned, seriously, you guys are awesome. Number one is Ahmed. I mean it sincerely, Ahmed. If you still watch or if one of your workers still watch, I absolutely love what your company is doing. I love the brand. I love the jacket that you sent me, of course, that I talked about on the show. Like I absolutely love it. And you're just an incredibly intelligent guy. I know we make a couple jokes here and there about Ahmed time when it comes to development and rollout of features, but seriously, I'm really, really proud of what you were able to do in the MVNO space. I think you're doing a fantastic job, and hopefully, as time goes on, I can continue to keep saying that to anyone that wants to hear me say it. But thank you, Ahmed, for coming on the show, for everything that you did. Great stuff. Number two has got to be Mr. Sneed Mobile Tech himself. I was watching him when he was way small, and it was crazy to get to the point where we had him on his show, and then he came on ours. I just a great experience, a great friend to have made in the community. Honestly, Sneed, you're a legend. You know that we talk on the private, but I got to give you props where it's due. And then number three for me is, and even though we don't haven't had him on it since, but Aaron North from Mint Mobile. That
Yeah.
was, I think, one of our quote unquote biggest high profile guests, and I couldn't believe it. Mint Mobile, Stetson loves. He highly recommends, and I highly recommend it too as an MVNO for a good portion of people. I really like what Mint's doing, and I think around that time they had some pretty funny ads with Ryan Reynolds. Aaron, if you're watching, and I could somehow meet Ryan Reynolds still somehow, some way, shape, or form, all right, shameless plug. I would not be opposed to that or some more free merch because I still do love the Mint merch gear that you gave me. So thank you.
Yeah. You know, Dennis, if you sign up for Mint service, they send you a holiday card, or Ryan sends you a holiday card. It's
Oh,
really funny.
dude, me, I got to re-sign up for Mint now.
Yeah, just for the holiday card. That's it, not for the service.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, I'm just looking through our old episodes right now, and it was kind of funny. I feel like when we started, we were finding our footing a little bit. Like we had some interesting,
You had
uh,
the people on with the AI engineering or whatever.
yeah, it's like some AR and some VR episodes. That was kind of interesting. Our first one was on eSIM. Wow, how that is circled back. I feel like we could almost do a reacting to that episode where I'm like, it blew up in my face because
New
now
new
Apple's
new channel idea. Best phone plans reacts to best phone plans.
we started a reacts channel to ourselves. Ahmed could talk. Yeah, 21,000 views on that. That was amazing. Um, Sneed came on when we were talking about the new Magenta Max plan because they went from Magenta Plus to Magenta Max. Um,
Dude,
Sasha
I got
Segan.
another one. I got another one. Craig.
Oh yeah,
Dude, I
Craig.
I I I know he's a competitor, but man, it was
Reviews.org. Yeah.
awesome to get Craig on from reviews.org. You're another person that's super memorable. And same also to uh oh my god, Dennis, don't forget names.
It's okay. We're gonna go through.
AT&T. She has AT&T. She lives in the West Coast.
Oh, Sherry Riggs.
Thank you. Sherry Riggs
Sherry's great.
from Whistle Out. Yeah. She's
Um,
awesome.
oh man, we had Peter Adderton on for Mobile X. It looks like over a year
Twice.
ago.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Roger Etner, great talking with him. I loved our episodes with Mike Dano. He had some great knowledge on the telecom industry. Um, oh man, so many great episodes and so many great guests. Yeah, it was a great show. It was a great show. It's kind of sad. I guess like where can people go if they're interested in telecom news? And what's next?
I think a good place to go for now is definitely Steam Mobile. Like he's crushing it. He's doing like 3 episodes a week.
It's
Very active
overwhelming.
patron.
He's so active.
He's so active, man. I mean, we gotta give the man props. I think he's really filled in the niche of the podcast space, and I think you touched on that yourself. You know, he's found a really good route of success there, and that's his jam, right? He just has that knowledge, and then, you know, if people want other telecom news, they could always go to you at the main channel, of course, right? You're gonna be making the short videos on the best deals and just hyper focused on that high level of production and quality that is characteristic of you. And I'm sure there's going to be fantastic content from there, like the Boost Mobile review that is going to be probably coming up anytime soon.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I switched over to Boost Infinite. Yeah, we had some great ones. Dennis, our best fixed wireless internet plans. This is where you were in Longmont. We were in together.
Oh, that was
24,000
monumental.
views.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And it was great being at your place. I met your roommate, Gabe. Awesome
Yeah.
guy. We ate. Oh, man. Honestly, some of the most memorable things that happened on this show didn't even happen on this show. Like to me, that experience in Colorado was incredible. I can't believe you didn't have like Thai food or Vietnamese food or anything like that until I came and exposed you, because you've lived there forever and didn't eat at any of these restaurants. And ironically enough, one of the places that we got the pho at, you actually went back on at another point. I think you said on a date and got food poisoning.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But yeah, we had that trip. I think the best restaurant we went to by far though was that super fancy Japanese like izakaya.
It was so good.
It was an expensive meal, but it was god tier.
Absolutely.
And California was nice. I still want to at some point, man, have you down in Pittsburgh. Like that has to be a thing. Like I gotta get
have to prove that AT&T is fantastic.
Well, no,
somewhere.
You gotta eat Primanti's. I've talked about it on the show before. You gotta eat Primanti's. And if I remember correctly, I don't think you knew what a pierogi was, or maybe it was your roommate Gabe that didn't know what a pierogi.
I still probably don't. You probably explained it. Is it like the potato thing?
Yeah, I showed you images. It's like a picture of ravioli, okay?
Okay.
Stuffed with potato and like onions and butter.
Okay.
That's like a classic pierogi.
There we go. Yeah. I think that's it. Dennis, we should do some channel stats. Kind of crazy. The new channel hit 3,100 subscribers. We have over 250,000 views on this channel. So pop that on the resume, Dennis. Best Phone Plans podcast, over 250,000 views. And honestly, I think my number one achievement, or the number one thing I'm grateful for, is the community. I think the 3,000 of you people who subscribed are some of the best people on the internet. So thank you very much for joining us together on this journey. And yeah, I think as Dennis said, if you're interested in telecom news, Sneed Mobile Tech is where it's at. Maybe subscribe to me on the main channel. And it sounds like if you're going to be interested in gaming, possibly check out Dennis. But we don't know what's coming next. It'll
gaming
be a surprise.
Or just talking in general. The gaming would be a backdrop, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of boring just to watch one person. In fact, why don't we use this as an opportunity to talk about the genesis and the birth of the podcast in case people were curious.
Oh yeah, the birth. How did the podcast come into light?
Yeah, how the podcast come to life. So what happened was Stetson actually was doing.
Well, let me do my backstory, and then you remember more of like how it actually happened. So
okay,
my backstory. I was trying to get immersed in the telecom world. And in that, I discovered Sneed's amazing channel. He had fewer subscribers back then, maybe around 12,000 or something. And I was like, this guy is awesome. I loved how he had his Patreon. I was like, I'm going to try this out. Maybe I'll do a live stream. We'll see what happens. I think I did 1, maybe 2 live streams. I had a Patreon. One of the perks was what a perk that is today, like the monthly exclusive live stream. And Dennis was the first person to show up for the exclusive live stream. So Dennis, why don't you take it from there? What do you remember from that experience and what happened?
So I have to retcon a little bit. So that's 2 things. 1,200 or so subscribers is what Sneed had, not 12,000.
Whoa, it was long ago. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But 2. Stetson was doing content, okay, and he had like 1 or 2 like live streams he was doing, and the Patreon, when it came about, he actually asked in one of his live streams, I believe we can go back. He asked like, what are some things you'd like to see as Patreon perks? And I suggested being able to have like a Google Meet style like one-on-one. And it was actually in the form of a super chat, by the way.
Oh, thank you, Dennis.
But he did that. I obviously subscribed to said Patreon tier, had the one-on-one, and I told him like, hey, these live streams you do are super awesome, getting to interact, but I do think you have a little bit of pause there. We don't know what to talk about, and just hearing your voice will get old if you want to make this long term in the future. You should get a guest on, and I mentioned a couple of names, and I also said, of course, myself. Uh,
Myself, just throwing that out there for your consideration.
I was like, yeah. For example, maybe you can have me on one of the times or something, and we did have me on one of the times, and then we did it again, and then it kind of became like this long term thing. In fact, Stets, it's like as Stetson touched on, my audio was horrible, and Stetson did one of the nicest things. I was not expecting it. He's like, Dennis, we are getting you a mic. I'm like, are you sure? Because remember, I was like, you sure, man? Like, are you positive? Like,
Yeah, I had just met Dennis online, okay, and his audio was just so bad. I was like, it's a business expense, and that's like a nice mic. That's like a $250 mic plus a
yeah,
stand. Like that was nice.
yeah. So he gets in the mic, he ships it out, he takes care of it all, and then the rest is history. The podcast became a thing, and we talk. I always picked my brains for ideas. Not all of them ever. Most of them actually never got
Dennis
executed on.
is an idea genius, you guys. Just a fountain of ideas, and it's amazing. I'm not able to execute on all of them, so
Yeah, it's like that whole thing, right? Like it's easy to come up with the ideas. You can even come up with a few of the steps, but actually going through the effort of executing is the challenging part, right? Because the execution is what differentiates a successful idea from a bad idea. But
yeah.
but yeah, no, that's kind of like how it went down. He had a couple of, like one-offs. I think he was literally maybe like 2 or 3 live streams in, and that's it. And there was the Google Meets. I was the only one that showed up, and bada bing, bada boom, here we were. Um, and I think back then I was like super squeamish too about like going on camera. I think I was still super I think I was even squeamish about giving you my personal info. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I was like, Dennis, do you feel comfortable sharing your address so I can like ship you this microphone? And like, I was able to pass the check. He's like, he's probably gonna be okay. And yeah, I
yeah,
think the first episodes were just like, I made graphics of phones, so it looked like we were like talking on the phone to each other, and it was just like the voice bubbles on the phones, kind of bouncing back and
and my
forth.
and my image, because we didn't have the Fiverr image yet,
Oh
was
yeah,
Lucky the
it
Dragon.
was Lucky the Dragon.
Which is, by the way,
Um,
for anyone that doesn't know, it's a reference to MSI. That's their mascot, Lucky. And I have an MSI graphics card on my PC. I love MSI GPUs. That's why that was there. And the Lucky the Dragon was actually a little nod to my gamer profile on
like some
game
platform or
things
something.
called,
Yeah.
yeah, like different platforms, which is Dragon.
So it all came together. It all tied together.
Yeah, it was a little nod, a little Easter egg now.
Yeah. And
Um,
then oh man, I remember we neither of us had green screens. So we did like I want to say the first 7, like 6, 7, 10 episodes. Let's see if I can get an actual number for you. We did the first it looks like it was 9 or 10. Yeah, I think it was like the first 9 episodes were like no camera. And then 10 is when we had Ahmed on, and that's Dennis. We had to get cameras. And then it's just like the worst like background. Like you
it's
can
the
see my
background of my apartment.
yeah, you can see my bed in the background. And then we had Peter Adderton on. Literally, his opening comment in the interview is like, mate, what is that? Like a full size bed behind you or whatever, like an Australian
Yeah,
accent.
yeah, yeah.
I was like, oh my God, yes, it is. I don't even fit on it. Um, so,
I don't think we
oh,
got green screens until probably like episode 40,
it was a long time.
like,
Yeah. I
or
was
40
just
or
like,
50. I'll say this: we didn't get green screens until getting maybe like a couple months out from me actually getting my house.
yeah, it looks like we had him on episode 29. So we did get him reasonable, but you have to remember we were doing this once a week. So that's still like 20 weeks after episode like 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
So, oh man, it was nuts. It was a grand time. It was a great time. It was a great podcast. It was a great audience. And yeah,
And I think for anyone out there that's getting really sad, I think in Stetson's heart of hearts, if he had more time, more hours, I do think that, and maybe a proper vacation, uh, I do think that Stetson would have been willing. Maybe if like, I don't know, I'm gonna make a match. I'm just making something up. If Stetson had like a double, who was
oh,
doing all the actual hard work, right? Because like the hard work and just taking on other stuff. Because what people don't got, I mean, what people got to realize is like, for all intents and purposes, I'm sort of the idea person for certain things on the background scene, and I'm a talking head. That's all I really do. Like, I want to make sure Stetson, you get the proper credit here. Like, Stetson's actually the one that makes most of the magic happen with the editing, the green screen, the thumbnails, the top, especially towards the end here as I got busier, the topics, like I came out with less and less topics as time goes on. That's partially on me, right? Like we were supposed to have calls, but we both got busy, and it just happens, right?
Yeah.
So Stetson was also doing a lot of the topics, right? And it got busy on him, right? And there was little things here and there that I did to try to like lay in the load, like I suggested melon over blah, or I suggested doing this thing or this thing, and we tried tweaking things as far as like scheduling, like reducing the time on the after shows and stuff to work around his schedule. But as Stetson said before, he has grander ambitions that are going to require every ounce and fiber of his being for him to try to be able to pull that off, especially in the competitive space that is YouTube. And Stetson really wants to focus on that coverage map, which
Yeah, I
has
mean,
legs.
that's basically another full-time company at this point. Like,
So he's got to focus on his earnings. Like his main channel is where he's making most of his income. I got a primary job, but for Stetson, this is his main income. Like there is
gotta make
nothing
it
else.
work. No pressure.
There is nothing else for him, unfortunately. Not that he couldn't do a million other things. Like he could have easily been freelance contract, but this is his passion. He wants to have that level of control. He's like the next Steve Jobs of YouTube, right? He
Oh,
just
thanks, Dennis.
he need you focus on the quality, right? And you know, this channel, although it's fun, doesn't make him the like he said, the business sense. And for the next steps in his progression, sometimes you don't need a spicy, controversial Dennis, right? You need to be very clean on that next targeted group you want to work on. So just don't be mad. Like he's doing what he needs to do to like actually thrive in life. Like don't be too sad, and I'm gonna be fine too. Like I got my primary job. I'm actually probably gonna take like I said, a little breather. I got January flying and the holidays, and
Yeah, this is
maybe
traveling.
after that little mini break myself, then that's when I'll focus on making content. Like I said, it might just be me talking like this, might be a couple of guests if I'm lucky, still fleshing it out, because stuff like this takes time. Like even the podcast, I think we waited 4 weeks before we did our first episode or something back in the
Yeah,
day.
we thought about it a lot, like how to structure it, how to go about it.
But
It was a journey.
we're getting close to the 30-minute mark. I guess I just want to say also, not to sound too cheesy, but sincerely, I do want to thank all of you that watched. Like the community has been absolutely fantastic. In fact, I don't know if I told you this, but in California, I actually went out to eat me and Pete with one of our community
Oh,
members.
that's just
Um,
amazing. See, that
yeah,
warms my heart.
yeah, we had a Korean barbecue place. It was delicious. I think I told you actually because I tried intestine
Oh,
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was not good. Thumbs down review for that, right?
The intestine was not good, but everything else was delicious. The pork belly,
Mm,
mmm, pork belly just hits different. Okay,
yeah.
but maybe I make a food review channel. That imagine getting paid to eat, dude. That would be the dream.
That's a
Who
power
would
move
want to
there,
watch me
Dennis.
eat though? That would be so boring. But anyway,
Shout out to our what is it? The Cadoba? No, it was the Mexican place we tried. Um El Del Taco. It was the
oh
Del Taco review.
no, oh
Patreon
dude,
members have access to that.
can you do me a favor, by the way? Can you
Yeah.
make that just public? Just that deserves to be public.
Okay.
But 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 going back, sorry, I do sincerely want to thank everyone in the community that made all of this happen. Your support towards Stetson and his plan addiction is definitely one. His testing is doing great work for all of us, and I just want to thank you for making these memories possible. This will forever be able to live on YouTube as a great story in my life, and I was able to make a lot of great friends and connections that will last forever. And I don't want you guys to think I'm just disappearing off the face of the earth. As mentioned, I'm very active on the Twitter. Best place to reach me. I will make announcements when I have more fleshed out thoughts for what comes next. And for Stetson, he's not going anywhere. Stetson Dog at main channel. If you're not subscribed there for some reason, you only subscribe to Best
Yeah,
Phone
wait.
Plans. What are you doing? Like,
Maybe I should link to my channel in the description.
uh, how about you link to both?
We'll link to everything in the description that you need to know.
Yeah. So, guys, seriously, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'll let Stetson say his thanks as well. But I'm gonna just say happy holidays to you as well, and many more if you ever come back to repeat watch this.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess Dennis, you did an excellent job kind of summarizing everything there. Like, thank you all. The community is really what drove me, what motivated me. And I think, as I said towards the beginning, I really want to help I want to help a million people save money on their cell phone bill. And I think the best way for me to do that is to focus my energy on the main channel, to fixing and improving the website to make that the best experience it can be, and to just making some strategic business investments there. So that is the end of the journey for the Best Phone Plans podcast, but certainly not the end for either me or Dennis. In some ways, just the beginning. We want to thank all of you from the bottom of our hearts for watching, liking, subscribing. For anyone who super chatted, that really meant the world to us. And we want to wish you a very happy holidays and a happy new year.
Nutritional peace.
Peace.